nights, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here from Kansas Speedway. Drivers going to get ready to duke it out here in this one as each and every driver going to be trying to put themselves up and into victory lane. Now tonight, unfortunately, our overlay is not going to work. So tonight for our overlay, we're going to have to do this all manually and just roll off of what we kind of know and what we can kind of see. But you do see that beautiful Charlie Kirk in memoriam paint scheme there on the 33 ride of Mr. Jordan Kreider. Man, we absolutely love that. We absolutely love that paint scheme out there on the racetrack. And hearts and prayers go out to Charlie Kirk and his family and anyone that had known him in the entire America, man. People around the world, including myself, feel the pain and feel that one. As Brian Underwood says, going to be a tight battle. Thank you to all the viewers who tune in and week out. Yes, Sirski, I appreciate that. Brian coming in, showing the love over there on YouTube as we're going to get these drivers locked and loaded, ready to rumble here in just a little bit. Now, once again, our overlay, the SDK live timing, unfortunately, for some reason, their application is down. It's not working. It seems to be a consistent issue for a bunch of broadcasters here this evening. So, unfortunately, we don't have the live timing here tonight. So, we may not be able to see that scoreboard. We'll check it throughout the evening to see if it works. It just continues to, as soon as you open it, it kind of freezes for a couple seconds and then automatically shuts down. We've tried it a few times. We've uninstalled and reinstalled it. It still does not seem to want to work, so I believe it's something on their end, not on our end, so it's out of our hands, out of our control until they can potentially get it fixed. As Jimmy 6 times says, thank you to all of our new and legacy drivers. We love you. We love it. We love all these drivers out there on the racetrack, man. It's going to be a tough one for me. The new drivers out there on the speedway, it's going to be tough for me to know, who is who and who's where out there on the racetrack, as we'll get all these drivers ready to rock and roll, ready to rumble here. But first, we're going to get our opening invocations here as Mr. Lonnie Kreider coming in, giving us our opening invocations here this evening. Let's see if we can get this opened
It's just about
up.
time.
All right, let's see if we can get this on here quickly for us. All right, let's see if I can continue to drag this. I don't know why it's not fully down. Where'd it go? All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for Mr. Lonnie Kreider with our opening invocations here this evening.
It's just about time to start racing again. But tonight, we'd like to remember Charlie Kirk and his family with all our prayers. Go out to him. So just 1 minute of silence just before we start those engines. Thank you very much. Guys, have a great night of racing. God bless America. Start those engines and let's go racing. It's just about time to start racing again. But tonight,
alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Mr. Lonnie Kreider as he gives us our opening invocations here this evening, as he's able to come in, drop the opening invocation, give us our opening command here to get ready to rock and roll, to get ready to go to battle here this evening, as each and every one of these drivers is going to be looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane. As, again, we do apologize, no overlay here tonight, so we do not have the overlay. SDK is down, so we cannot produce the overlay. It sucks. It is not fun. It definitely is going to make things that much tougher for us here this evening, but we are going to try our best and see if we can get through it like we used to in the old days. As here we go, we'll get ready to set them loose. As starting on the pole here, let's go through the opening. Oh, wrong button. Let's go there. All right, so in that pole position in the 6th ride, the beautiful Charlie Kirk Memorial ride. That is the 6th ride of Mr. Brian Underwood, ready to rumble here this evening. To his outside will be that Rubbered Up Productions number 5, Lonnie Kreider machine. That is the 5 ride of Josh Kreider. Starting in position number 4 is the 13 ride. I believe that is Mr. Wood Sr. there in that 13 ride. Gregory Wood Sr. there in 3rd. To his outside will be that 79 ride as he'll get ready to rock and roll. Mr. Danny White. The 03 ride, I'm not too sure on who that is, but the 03 will start there in position number 5. We do see the 51. That is Mr. Wyatt Mickelson back there in that 6th position. The 16, the 17 back there as we do see the 0-1 out on the racetrack. The 33 of Jordan Kreider, the 2 of Landon Burbage, the 77, that is Mr. I believe that is Ryan Haller out there. The 27 ride, that is the 27, I do believe, of Nathan Brookover. Then we do see the 66 of Gleason, the 87 of Chris Getz, the 76 of Farrell Robbins, the 72, that is Jonathan Gaston out there in that beautiful Bourbon Hills barbecue machine. Right behind him, that's Melvin Brengerer in the 19 ride. And that is going to be our starting lineup here this evening. Is out in front, getting that green flag. It is the 6th ride of Mr. Underwood, who has the race lead. He is out in front, and he's looking to try to keep all these drivers back there at bay as the 6th ride continues to lead here in this one. Opening lap here, being able to lead that first lap in that beautiful turning point. USA number 6 right here at the point. Definitely a fitting spot for it to be number 1 in all of our hearts. Charlie Kirk, man, as he continues to keep on battling here, keep on trying to keep these guys back there behind him. The 5 ride of Mr. Kreider going to be right there in tow, as it's going to be a tight battle. This is a fun racetrack, as you can see them 3 wide back there coming out of corner number 4. 0-3 on the inside. Gregory Wood Sr. right there in the middle, and his Wyatt Mickelson on the outside there. Did get a little piece of that wall coming down and out of corner number 1 right there. Just got a little piece of it on corner entry. Now you see him getting a shove here from that 2 right of Landon Burbage. Is Burbage trying to push him right on through here, giving that extra little bit of help. He's going to move around the 13, as unfortunately their 13 right going to slide back at least a spot. May lose another spot. Here's the 2 right of Landon Burbage trying to get around him. Is Anna, what's good? Anna Alessandro coming in, says hello, Peacemaker. Hello, Anna, how are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day, as it's going to be tough here, chat. No overlay, and that means I can't go through camera angles. I can't go through replays really quickly. It's going to be very, very tough for us here this evening to figure out, what's gone wrong, what's happened here, and how we need to see what's happening out there on the racetrack. We can't see drivers moving forward, what's the word out there on the speedway or anything else. So it's going to be a whole lot of manual camera work. As out in front, it is still Brian Underwood. You do see Landon Burbage trying to keep on moving his way towards the front of the pack here, as we do see the 0-1 trying to hang on, trying to keep that beautiful 13 right back there at base. The 13's just trying to hang on to it right now. He's been on the slide, and unfortunately may lose another spot or 2 here, as the beautiful Tide Power Pods number 0-1 going to move around his outside. Here comes that beautiful Greg Biffle inspired paint scheme there. That 16 ride going to roll around the outside here. He's going to look to try to move past that 13 machine and keep on working his way a little closer to the front of the pack. As you do see the 66 of Gleason, the beautiful Cinnamon Toast Crunch number 17 ride. Man, that is going to make me hungry here this evening. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch ride looking fresh out there on the racetrack, rolling just right now in front of Gleason, as you do see Ryan Haller, Nathan Brookover back here door to door, as each and every one of these drivers continue to battle, continue to hunt here around the speedway. And man, this has been a pretty good show so far, man. Really tight racing. Everyone's kind of just right there on top of each other. You lose that little bit of momentum, you move up, you get a little bit loose. Anything else, you can easily slide back a couple positions and be put into a very tough spot out there on the racetrack. As you see the 0-3 ride trying to work his way around this 2 machine of Landon Burbage. Burbage doing everything he can, trying to keep that 0-3 back there at bay. This is a battle for that 5th position as they continue to fight back and forth here for position number 5 on the racetrack. 0-3 wants to take it away. The Prince is towing number 2 ride of Landon Burbage. Did not want to give it up, unfortunately. Looks like he will lose that spot, but quickly battling back here. Jumps down to the inside lane, hoping to find a run, maybe try to get back underneath that 0-3 machine, as here comes that 0-1 and the 16 ride, both quickly working their way up towards the front of the field here in this one. I'm not sure if the 16 is that Matthew Wood? Let's see if we can take a look here, as you do see the 6th ride of Underwood still out in front, continue to lead this race. Let's see if we can take a look at our laps here. No, not laps, results. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can take a look here. Okay, so that is Matthew Rodriguez in the 0-1. Matthew Rodriguez in the 0-1. Okay, it's Joshua Siegfried in that 0-3. Now, who is the 16? That is Keith Ayers. Ayers. Keith Ayers there in that 16 ride. So Ayers is in the 16, Rodriguez in the 0-1. Back there in the 17 ride, that is William Moore, or Will Moore, there in that 17 machine. Okay, so we'll have to try to remember those. It's definitely going to be very, very tough to try to remember how all this happened and who the new drivers are out there on the racetrack here this evening without the overlay, without having that quick access, without being able to see the names and numbers and everything else. It's going to make our job a little bit tougher up here in the booth, but now you do start to see the 5 ride here of Josh Kreider starting to slide back a little bit as we do see this number 2 ride moving forward. Same with the 0-3 ride, so Siegfried working his way, I do believe, now into about the 3rd position. The 2 ride of Landon Burbage right there behind him is Danny White. Hangs on to position number 2 on the racetrack, but it's a bit of a gap now between himself and that 6 ride as the turning point. Number 6, the Charlie Kirk ride of Brian Underwood out in front, continuing to lead this race, continuing to have this ride here at the front of the field as he's leading each and every one of them down the back straightaway. Now, it's going to be tough for us to know. We'll have to just keep on clicking it, opening that up, trying to figure out where exactly everyone is, or if there's an issue, if they're on the racetrack for our caution flags and stuff. We won't get alerts for it, and we obviously won't see, too many replays quickly out there. As you see, we have to manually click through each and every one of these drivers, which makes things that much tougher. And I don't know if we can do, like, position number 4. Nope, that just pauses it. Okay, nope. Go back. Okay, we're back. Okay, do not hit buttons. Do not hit other buttons, Aaron. I don't have hotkey set up for all of this, so it makes it even tougher. But, man, look at this gaggle of cars right here, man. These guys are putting on a absolutely amazing show for us, man. A great battle as Kreider trying to hang on to that position as Siegfried now right there behind him, the 0-1. Here comes that 16 ride of Keith Ayers down low, trying to work his way up towards the front in that Greg Biffle 3M machine as here comes Siegfried trying to get a run there. The 0-1 ride right there to his back bumper of Rodriguez, trying to work his way a little closer to the front. Here is the Tide Ponds ride, but man, these guys are just stacked on top of each other. Some tight racing here at Kansas Speedway. Our top 3 starting to break away here a little bit as the 6 of Underwood continues to lead the way. It's Danny White in the 2 of Landon Burbage hanging on to that 2nd and 3rd spot on the Speedway. Kreider still in position number 4 with the Greg Biffle number 16 machine of Keith Ayers rounding out our top 5 with that 0-3. Joshua Siegfried trying to take it away from him. Siegfried rolls that outside lane nicely here. Gets a great run down the straightaway, but you can cut that apron. There is no yellow line, so you can use the entire racetrack, especially on these straightaways. You can go down below that white line. You can try to make passes. You can kind of try to cut the tri-oval a little bit, and sometimes doing so, it can either kill your momentum and slow you down, or you can find that extra little bit of ground that you can slide up in front of somebody, clear them heading down into corner number 1. So that could be the big break right there as we continue to see these guys duking it out, continuing the battle here on the racetrack, doing a fantastic job here this evening. Some good hard green flag racing. That's exactly what we like to see, man. A bunch of good green flag racing. You see the 51 get up, scrape that outside fence. You got to imagine potentially damage from earlier. We saw him get hard into that corner 1 entry wall. Unfortunately, may have towed out this car a little bit, may have gotten a little bit of damage here to that front right suspension, and could be potentially struggling right now, just trying to keep himself in this battle, in this hunt here towards the front, and unfortunately he's sliding back a little bit here. Same with that 5 ride of Kreider. Kreider's now back into that 5th position, maybe even back into 6th if the 51 ride can't complete that pass as they continue the battle side by side. The 0-1 of Rodriguez right there on their back bumper. Air is right there as well as he looks down low again, looking for a big run. Here comes Ryan Haller in that Gamebridge number 77 ride. So here comes Haller trying to work his way up towards the front here. The 17 ride right there as well, trying to get his nose into this battle, working his way up through the top 10 here on the racetrack. A bit of a gap back now to the, I do believe this is our 11th place driver here, the Fireball 27 ride, Nathan Brookover. Brookover trying to hold on to position number 11 as the 66 of Ben Gleason go around him right there. Bad corner exit. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him at least 2, maybe even 3 positions, as there goes Brent Brewer. There comes the 87 ride of Chris Getz, and now you see Farrell Robbins right there as well. He's trying to poke his nose into that fight, and he is able to make the move and get around the 27 ride. Unfortunately for Brookover, he is going the wrong direction right now in that 27 machine. And then we do see the 13 ride. That is Gregory Woods Sr. back there in that 13th position. The 33 of Jordan Kreider back here as well. Another beautiful Charlie Kirk Memorial ride here, as well as the Thou Shalt Not Kill number 33 ride. Beautiful, beautiful looking machine here. Let's see if we can get another angle at this car. You can see the hood has a beautiful tribute here to him, but we just cannot zoom in on that, unfortunately, as it is just not popping up for us, as we do see a pass at the front of the pack. It is the 2 ride of Landon Burbage. Landon able to jump up there for a little bit, take that race lead away from Brian Underwood. Underwood, though, battling back, looking to try to take this race lead back away from the 2 ride. So Landon Burbage out in front now, able to lead that lap. First time we've seen a pass for the race lead here this evening, and for Landon Burbage working his way up and through the field and working that 2 ride to the point here, passing a lot of cars in doing that. So he's been able to make some big moves, slice and dice his way up and through the traffic, and now at the point, but man, it is not over yet. It's still a tight battle here, as that 6 machine does not want to give it up, and now there's contact. Look out, Landon Burbage up and into the outside fence right there. Oh, brother, that is a tough break right there for Landon Burbage. Such a fast ride here this evening. Hopefully not too much damage or anything that could potentially hurt his chances here this evening of winning this race. He may have to make a green flag pit stop. I'm not sure what extent that damage may be here for that number 2 ride, as unfortunately we do have to click back onto the screen. There we go. All right, let's see if we can take a look here, as definitely going to be some pretty solid right side damage. Not too much, but he did pancake it pretty hard. You got to imagine that the car is definitely dealing with some heavy right front issues here this evening, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that as he falls back into about the 6th position or so, as Anna's a little delayed. She says, "That's my boy." Woo! Unfortunately, Anna, little too late to that one. Little too late there for the comment. It was great. It was going great for him until the 2 ride got a little loose there at a corner number 4. Obviously tight racing between him and the 6. Made contact with that fence. Now falling back, I do believe, into about the 7th position on the racetrack, as you do see Wyatt Mickelson, Keith Ayers, the number 5 ride of Josh Kreider, all able to get around him. We also saw the 79 ride of Danny White able to get back around him, and the 03 of Joshua Siegfried. Siegfried has looked very strong here in this race. The 03 ride looks kind of hooked up here this evening, and if you can kind of hit some of the strategy on point here this evening, if you can kind of hit your marks, make some big moves at the right time, could potentially find yourself into a very good position here throughout this race. As we'll take a look here and see exactly, I do believe we got some stage points here to hand out and a stage break. Let me double check this. Okay, so stage break is at lap number 40. So the completion of lap number 40, we will see stage number 1 come to a close. Now we do see a couple drivers work their way down pit side. So our first stage of the day isn't too far away here for a lot of these drivers. We're on lap number 27, and now we do see a bunch of these guys heading down pit road here. You see the 3 ride, unfortunately, down and off the racetrack right there, just missed pit road, but we do see Farrell Robbins down pit road, the 01 ride, the 2 machine of Landon Burbage also coming down pit road. You'll see Danny White, Josh Kreider, the number 6 machine of Brian Underwood, who was our race leader, also coming down pit side here this evening, as the 72 ride continues to keep on battling, trying to race his way up towards the front. A lot of these other drivers going to be starting to look to come down pit road, so it looks like fuel pretty much going to get to somewhere around that lap 27, lap 28 area for these drivers, as Brother Minecraft. Hello, how are you, Brother Minecraft? Showing the love here this evening. How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day, as you do see Chris Getz hit his pit stall. You do see 77 Haller, the 27 of Brook over there as Jordan Kreider hits his pit stall here this evening. You do see a couple of these other drivers, including the 03 of Siegfried, the 16 ride of Keith Ayers, and that number 51 of Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson with a pretty solid pit stop right there, able to get down, get his pit stall done and over with, rolls back out onto the racetrack as I do believe... Let me double check here, chat. Overlay is still not up, so it is the 03 right now of Joshua Siegfried. Siegfried is the race leader with Mickelson, Keith Ayers, and Ryan Haller, our top four out there on the racetrack. So some pretty solid runs here, as unfortunately for the 5 rider Kreider just on the lead lap here. Unless if it just hasn't updated it yet. There we go. Okay, now it's updated. Okay, now it's updating. Here we go. All right, so it is Underwood, who's still out in front. Underwood is our race leader, the 01 ride there in position number 2 now. Pitting a little bit earlier, maybe helping them out a little bit more and putting them into a little bit better of a position out there on the racetrack. As that Tide Powers Up rides Matthew Rodriguez, man, he's been having a hell of a day here this evening. You see the 76 ride there, Farrell Robbins, Mickelson, Danny White. They're door-to-door. This is a battle for position number 3. Unfortunately, Farrell Robbins is a lap down, but we do inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 1. Stage number 1 about to come to a close here not too long from now, as Josh Kreider back in about the 5th position. Siegfried, unfortunately, coming down that lap later, seemed to really hurt this 03 ride. The 2 machine of Landon Burbage, obviously trying to get this car somewhat repaired, obviously trying to get that quick pit stop in, still hanging out about that 6th position. He's got the 17 ride right there on his back bumper as the Cinnamon Toast Crunch ride continues to try to drive his way up towards our top 5 here today. Is out in front, though, it is the 6th, the Charlie Kirk ride here this evening, that Turning Point USA, number 6, out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one as he is looking for the stage win. Is down across the line. Will click off another lap as Rodriguez back there behind him trying to work his way to the point here, hoping to try to win stage number 1 here in his first ever Premium Stock Car Racing League event. As we do see only about 8 laps left to go here in this stage. Still a lot of racing left to go. Stage number 1, obviously, if it comes to a close, you know, we still got a lot of racing, a lot of laps left. 40 laps into a race, meaning that we still have 127 laps left to go. So even if you don't have a great run and a great drive there in that first stage, you still got a lot of time. You still got a lot of opportunities to either, you know, gain a lap back. If you go a lap down early on, you can kind of bounce back here throughout the evening, trying to put yourself into a better finish later on. Now, the stage points definitely help you out. They can definitely help drive you towards making it into the playoffs, or potentially just showing that, you know, you're strong enough car to contend here in this race. You may get a little bit more respect from some of the other drivers later in the race, knowing that, you know, you got a fast, hot rod and that they may not want to just get your way and hold you up for too long, or else they may run into issues. We can continue to see these guys slipping and sliding around as the 6th ride goes for a big slide there in quarter 1 and 2. Had to roll out of the throttle. Unfortunately, that opens up the door for the Tide car to jump out in front. So Matthew Rodriguez now has the race lead. So Rodriguez out in front, down across the line, will lead lap number 35 here. We got 5 laps left to go here in this race. So 5 laps left to go here in this stage. Sorry, is the stage about to come to a close here in our Kansas Speedway feature event, man. This is a beautiful racetrack, beautiful facility, and obviously a lot of good open racing here, a lot of good green flag racing, which is exactly what we like to see. We like to see this just good, tough fighting out there on the racetrack. There's been a lot of side-by-side, 2 wide, 3 wide out there on the racetrack. Drivers have been very good, very respectful, giving each other enough room. Even if they make a mistake, they've been able to hold on to a pretty wheel, keep their cars in the right direction, and just keep on rolling. And now we see that 6th ride of Brian Underwood trying to work his way back to the point here. The 6 machine rolling the outside lane, hoping to find that extra little bit of speed, that extra little bit of drive, especially down the straightaways. But but it seems like as he runs up there, that car is getting very, very loose and running into some very tough, areas out there on the speedway. And unfortunately, he's been struggling a lot here for that Turning Point USA ride as he continues to roll back in position number 2. He's working on that back bumper, though, trying to find his way back around this time to Power Pod's 0-1 machine of Rodriguez as he continues to sit out in front, continues to lead this race, and we inch closer and closer to the end of our first stage of the day. Is again down across the line. The 0-1 will lead another lap, and I do believe we got 2 laps left to go here in this stage. So 2 laps left here. Can Rodriguez hang on to it and earn his first stage win in his first race here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, or do we see a big move coming? Because here it is, the number 6 battling back down low. Brian Underwood, man, looking strong here in that 6 machine. This car has been super fast all evening long and gets a great run, takes the race lead back away. They will complete lap number, I do believe, 39 right there, or 38. I'm not 100% sure. We may have 2 laps left to go. It may be this next lap as we are on lap 39 right now. So, or we may have just completed lap 39. I don't know what that shows, if we're either on lap 39 or we completed lap 39. But nonetheless, it is a tight battle here at the front of the field. Underwood out in front just by a couple inches. The 0-1 down low. They're both pushing it here. A little bit of contact with the outside fence. Drag race back down to the line. We'll have to wait and see if that is the caution flag, if that is the end of the stage or not. But it is Brian Underwood out in front. So Underwood has the race lead. The 0-1 back in second, and I do believe with that big run down the back straightaway, it's not going to matter. This 6 ride looking stout, hoping to try to find his way into this stage win here this evening. Power still down, rolling down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. So this is the completion of lap number 40, and our first stage of the day will come to a close. So our first stage of the day has come to an end, and it's the Turning Point USA Charlie Kirk number 6 ride, the in memoriam machine here this evening, supporting Charlie Kirk as our hearts and prayers go out to Charlie Kirk, his family, his friends, and all of the USA and around the world here this evening. But the yellow flag is out as Brian Underwood is able to win the first stage here this evening in that number 6 machine. Heck of a run, heck of a drive right there for him as he's able to keep that car out in front, and now hoping to try to continue to keep on just racing here towards the front of the field, hoping that he can maybe find his way into victory lane here this evening. Now, I'm not sure if drivers would have taken tires there on that pit stop. I do believe they probably would have, but they may not have, as Matthew Rodriguez, heck of a run there in his first race here of Premium Stock Car Racing League, comes home in position number 2 there in the first stage. Danny White back there in 3rd, Joshua Siegfried there in 4th, and then we see that I do believe it is the 2 of Landon Burbage. It will salvage a little bit of something here out of this run after making that contact, battling for the race lead and for the 2 ride. Landon Burbage comes home 5th there in that stage. The 17 ride right there behind him, the 17 of Will Moore there in position number 6 out there on the racetrack. Back in position number 7 is the 77. It is Ryan Haller. Back in 8th, the 76 of Farrell Robbins. And 9th, the 51 of Wyatt Mickelson. And I do believe it is the 27 of Nathan Brookover. Actually, I do believe Brookover is in 9th. It's Ben Gleason in position number 9 as Farrell Robbins is a lap down. That's where our overlay works very well. It shows us what lap every driver is on. We know who's on the lead lap, not on the lead lap, and obviously Farrell Robbins not on the lead lap here this evening. And you know what? It's a pretty crazy story, especially for the 17 ride of Will Moore. I don't know if his birth certificate says Will Moore or William Moore. I'm not 100% sure, but all I know is that that was my grandfather's name. That was my grandpa Bill or William. He was Will Moore as well. Same M-O-O-R-E. Pretty crazy to see Will Moore out there, knowing that that was my grandfather's name, my late grandfather, and crazy to see that out there on the racetrack. I should be able to remember that name pretty easily here. Hopefully I just don't call him Bill. I don't know if he goes by Bill or Will, or if it's William, and later in his life he'll go by Bill, because I know that's usually kind of the way that it goes there for most of these guys. They kind of start out as Will as they're younger, then they go to William throughout their, middle of their, careers and everything else, and then in their later lives they tend to go by Bill instead of Will or William, so we'll have to wait and see. But for right now, he's rolling pretty strongly out there on the racetrack in that Chris Buescher Cinnamon Toast Crunch number 17 machine, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get them ready to go back to battle here and see, who's going to be able to make some moves, who's going to be able to try to put themselves up and into the Stage 2 winner circle here this evening. Now, we are going to do a moment of silence here, and we are going to do a lap of silence for Charlie Kirk here this evening. So, lap 47, we will do our moment of silence as, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. We cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here this evening as lap 44 on the board. We're about to see lap 45, so in a couple laps here, we will go to our Charlie Kirk in memoriam here in our lap of silence here on Peacemaker Gaming and with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. We all Our hearts are heavy, man, and we're all furious. We are all completely distraught about what transpired a few days ago in the senseless murder of Charlie Kirk, and our hearts and prayers go out to everyone in the Kirk family, friends, and the entire USA, the entire world, as our hearts are heavy here with Charlie Kirk, and we'll continue to see him right on board here and live through each and every one of us as we are, and I am Charlie Kirk today and every day for the rest of my eternity as Charlie Kirk. That beautiful Turning Point USA number 6 rider Brian Underwood sees that green flag fly. He's able to once again jump out in front, open a couple car length lead here between himself and that 0-1 machine as the Tide Power Pods machine try to run him down, try to figure out a way to get himself out in front, as we do see, this tight battle continuing here at the front of the field. These two duked it out at the end of stage number 1, and unfortunately there for Brian Underwood, he does slide back into second, may fall even farther back as here comes Danny White, gonna shoot right down the middle here. Danny makes a big move. Here comes the 2 ride, looking to follow him right on through. So Landon Burbage trying to race his way to the front of the field here this evening as well. As they continue to battle, they continue to slice and dice through this field, man. Some great racing. Look at Melvin Brengruer right there as well, working his way up and into 19th here. But as lap 46 comes to a close, lap 47 is here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Our moment of silence here for Charlie Kirk. Alrighty, a absolutely amazing lap of silence there for Charlie Kirk. Again, our hearts and prayers go out to the entire Kirk family, all of the USA, and everyone across the world with their heavy hearts here this evening and every evening as we will continue to carry on. We will continue to be Charlie Kirks of the world each and every day for the rest of our existence as the 6 ride rolls there in about the 5th position now, as we do see a couple drivers continue to race their way up towards the front here. So tires definitely playing a factor here in this one. A lot of drivers starting to quickly work their way up towards the front of the field here as you see that Will Moore machine on the back bumper here of Landon Burbage. Burbage still trying to work his way forward, but the 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson, the 77 of Ryan Haller. Some different strategy here for these drivers as the 77 and the 51 start to race their way up towards the front, but unfortunately there's about 3 cars still in front of them here, having themselves a heck of a show as the 19 of Melvin Brengruer right there from deep in this field started way back there, now up into that 3rd position, right behind our race leaders as the 01 of Matthew Rodriguez and the 79 of of Danny White continue to battle door to door, but it does look like the 0-1 will prevail down through corner number 3 and 4. He will stay out in front, clears that 79 ride, and for Danny White, the Gaston's iRacing graphics machine falls back into second, but now he may have a little bit of company here. The 19 ride trying to get down to his inside. 79 closes the door, though, keeps him back there at bay as they go a little single file down the back straightaway. But you do see the 0-1 kind of running off kilter with everybody else. A little bit of a different line, entering a little bit lower than a lot of these other drivers into these corners, obviously trying to just keep that car hugged to that inside lane, and right now it is working out very nicely for him. As look out, Danny White getting a little loose there at corner number 4, almost got hard up into the wall and does catch it there into corner number 1. We saw that same issue, I believe early on. We saw somebody get up into that wall and end up with some pretty solid contact. I do believe it was that 51 ride that he's beside right now, Wyatt Mickelson. So hopefully if there is any damage, if there is a problem there for the 79 ride, that he can hang on to it here until we see the end of stage number 2 and able to just keep on working his way here and just trying to earn some extra stage points here throughout this stage and hang on and hopefully maybe continue to keep on battling if the damage isn't too bad. We didn't see too much damage on the 51. We didn't see too much damage on Landon Burbage when he found the fence as well. We've seen a couple other drivers get up and into it, and as of right now, everyone's kind of got through it with very minimal contact, very minimal damage there, as you do see this Gamebridge 77 ride. That is Ryan Haller. Haller looking to try to race his way up towards the front here as Melvin Brenger between himself and our race leader, but for the General Tire Machine sitting there in that third position has had a pretty solid day so far and trying to earn some extra stage points here. As bear with this, chat, we may see the screen go black here for a quick second. We want to see if we can get SDK open again here. We're going to see if we can get that rolling quickly. So we open it, kind of freezes for a second or two, and then, yeah, shuts down. Unfortunately, still not working for us, chat. Still not working for us. Unfortunately, it's not working for anybody here this evening. So any of the SDK users that have a broadcast here tonight, unfortunately, they are not getting any help here in this one, and I don't see any extra links or anything the guys are trying to work on or the guys are trying to fix up here. I haven't seen any tech support in the chat trying to get it to work. I'll have to wait and see, as yeah, it's still not working for us here, chat, and this has definitely been tough. It's definitely been not easy. It has definitely been very hard to try to figure out what we need to do or what we need to try and get to work here this evening. There's definitely nothing that is popped up on what is right or what is wrong. Man, this is definitely not as fun. Chat, this is definitely not as fun. It's not having it here, not having that available to us is going to be very, very difficult. Definitely going to make things that much more tough here throughout the evening. So we'll have to just keep on trying our best here without the overlay. We'll make it work. We've been making it work. So we'll just have to continue on seeing it and seeing if it's going to continue to keep on rolling here this evening, as unfortunately I don't see any tech support here, and I don't see any announcements from SDK. I don't see anything else stating whether or not it is working here. Interesting. All right, well, right now we keep on working, we keep on duking it out here. Hopefully we can get that working here before the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see. They are over in the UK, so potentially not going to have to worry or may not have that available to us or whatever for the weekend, and that's going to make things tougher for us throughout tomorrow and the rest of Sunday. We got 2 races tomorrow, so hopefully it's working again tomorrow. As out in front, we do see that 77 ride. Haller trying to work his way up towards the front here, as we do see Miss sure Holler in the chat says, hi, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Let's go, Ryan Holler. Let's go, Mrs. Holler, coming in showing the love here in this one. And, well, there you go. You get a great look at it as the 77 ride. Ryan Holler out in front, takes over the race lead. He now has the point here, and he's going to be able to lead this lap down across the line. That is lap number 60 here this evening. So 60 laps in, still about 107 laps left to go out of this 167 lap race. As, man, some good hard racing. Do see the 19 of Melvin Brangruer able to work his way around the 0-1 as well. So the 0-1 machine slides up and back to position number 3 on the speedway. There you see the 16 ride. That is the 16 machine of, don't get me wrong here, Keith Ayers there. Ayers back in position number 4. Then we see the number, I do believe it is the 51, Wyatt Mickelson back there in 5th. Landon Burbage in that 6th position. Danny White all the way back into position number 7 with the Charlie Kirk, the Turning Point USA number 6, Ryan O'Brien Underwood back in position number 8. Back in position number 9, it is the 5 ride of Josh Kreider. Behind him, I do believe a lap down or 2 is that 13 ride of Gregory Woods Sr. 66 of Ben Gleason running at our top 10. He's got his teammate back there, the number 87 ride of Chris Getz back in 11th. Then we see the 33 ride of Jordan Kreider. I'm not sure Jordan's still on the lead lap. Yes, he is. So Jordan's still on the lead lap here this evening in that 33 machine, as that other beautiful, beautiful Charlie Kirk Memorial ride there in about the 13th position. Back in 14th is his 27 ride. That is Nathan Brookover. And then you see Joshua Siegfried, unfortunately, is a lap down now for Farrell Robbins, also a lap down. And the 72 ride of Mr. Jonathan Gaston, also a lap down here this evening, as well as our race leader, the 77, out in front, continuing to lead the way here in this one. As, man, this has been some great fun. As Mrs. Holler says, great stretch that B-Day out a few days. Hey, listen, no one's going to judge you on that one. That's 100% A-okay with me. You stretch it out as long as you want, Mrs. Holler. And she says, no drinking tonight. Laugh my ass off. No drinking tonight. You can drink whatever you want. Anna, you can drink whatever you want. That's up to you. That is up to your own discretion. But drink responsibly, and please do not drink and drive. As Mrs. Holler says, come on, Ryan! Number 77 is Holler out in front, continuing lead this race, looking to try to win stage number 2 here this evening. Obviously playing some of that strategy game and raced his way up here, but you see that 0-1 ride still hanging on to position number 2, still doing a pretty solid jump here for his first race with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, as he was able to get back around the 19 of Brangruer. Now Brangruer going to fall back into position number 4 as Keith Ayers in his first race here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. He works his way now up and into position number 3 here on the speedway. That beautiful Greg Biffle number 16 machine out there on the racetrack, trying to work his way up here to the point, trying to race his way to the front out there on the racetrack. As you take a look back, you do see the 5 ride of Kreider down pit road here. So green flag pit stop there for the 5 of Josh Kreider. Comes down pit road maybe a little bit earlier than a lot of these other drivers. We'll have to wait and see as he does go a lap down. We do see at least the 17 ride. This is Will Moore down pit side as well. So Will getting some work done to his car, but he's down pit side here for an extended period of time. We do see the 2. That is Landon Burbage. He hits pit road. He's getting some fresh tires and fuel into this 2 ride as the 19 continue to battle here. You do see the 16, the 0-1. They're all still chasing this 77 rider, Ryan Holler. As Holler continues to hold on to the race lead. He is out in front. He is feeling fine and looking divine here this evening as he rolls in that top spot and nice and easy down out of corner number 4. Looks like he will lead us back down to the start-finish line, but the 0-1 and the 16 starting to reel him in here a little bit. They are closing the gap. They are catching up to him. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how quickly they're going to be able to catch him. And if they can catch him, will they be able to make the move around him? Alrighty, it's Haller out in front. I do believe we're going to see the, I believe it is the 16 ride heading down pit road right here. We're trying to get the camera angle on him. This is where SDK used to work perfectly here. I actually don't even see the 16 out there anymore. Where did the 16 disappear to, chat? So we see the 19 ride of Brangro. There's the 76 coming back out onto the racetrack after his green flag pit stop. There's the 51, Wyatt Mickelson. Danny White, Ben Gleason. There's the 87 machine of Chris Gatz. Ringwood Sr. There's the Charlie Kirk machines right there. The 6 of Mr. Ryan Underwood. The 33 of Jordan Kreider. 5's out there. 27's out there. There's the 2 of Landon Burbage. 17 right of Will Moore. The 72 of Jonathan Gaston. 0-1 right now out in front. So I don't know what has happened. I feel that the... I do believe we're going to see one of these drivers lose connection here. I'm not sure, as Will Moore did lose a couple laps down pit road there, potentially pit road speeding penalty. There is. Okay, Benjamin Romano never jumped out there. Joshua Siegfried now 7 laps down. Gaston 5 laps down. Will Moore a lap down. Where is Keith Ayers? I didn't even see him out there on the racetrack. There he is. Okay, so he must have disappeared there for a couple minutes. Was not showing him even out there on the racing surface or down pit road, but there's 16 able to roll back out there. So going to see him at least back out onto the track, as we do see Charlie Kirk, number 6 ride, still battling here, still holding on. The 77 ride of Mr. Haller there, but it is Danny White who's out in front now. But a lot of these drivers still have to work themselves back down pit road here this evening, so it's still very, very anyone's game here this evening, as you do see Melvin Brangruer and all these other cats with the fresh tires able to quickly work their way around that 79 ride of Danny White. Danny, though, going to continue to stretch this out here as lap 73 on the board right now, meaning that we're getting very, very close to seeing the end of stage number 2 here this evening. Stage number 2 not too far away from being completed here. So as the stage does come to a close at the completion of lap number 85 here this evening, we're only about 11-12 laps away from seeing this stage come to an end. And as it does come to an end, that's going to make things very, very interesting here, as obviously a lot of drivers are going to be able to slice and dice throughout the field. A lot of drivers are going to be able to kind of get reorganized, maybe try to hope that their things, as JS Derby Car says, up front equals internet issues. Oh no, the JS Derby Cars, that is tough. Says I had a fast car. Yeah, man, I'm assuming JS Derby Cars, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Siegfried? I do believe that's Siegfried, and yeah, we did see Siegfried unfortunately go multiple laps down here. There he is, back 9 laps down. I'm not sure if he's still rolling back out there, but we do see right here in the chat, you see the mouse here at the bottom, Joshua Siegfried connection dropped due to upload packet loss, and that is a tough thing right there, man. That is tough, losing the packet loss, getting virtually kicked out of iRacing, got to load back in, try to get back into it, and unfortunately now already quite a few laps down here this evening. Things have been tough for us here tonight, JS Derby Cars. Don't you worry, brother. No overlay here this evening. Our overlay company, SDK, is unfortunately down right now. I don't know what's going on with it, but their overlays are not working. They will not pop up, and they unfortunately do not let us use the app right now. There's a lot of other broadcasters that use SDK as well that have ran into that issue here tonight, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if anyone's home there at SDK to try to fix it or try to, work on these servers or work on their data to try to get things to work again, and unfortunately it has not helped us out very much here this evening. So we've had to do everything kind of manually here tonight, and that is a tough thing to do, as we do see Matthew Rodriguez as our race leader. So Rodriguez out in front, came so close to winning stage number 1 here this evening. Very, very close to winning that stage. Unfortunately, was not able to pick up the stage win. Had to settle for second, but here he is in stage number 2, getting close to the end here, trying to work his way to potentially his first stage win here in his first race ever with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. His JS Derby car says, I'm done for the night. Can't get it straightened out. So see you in the next one. Ah, man, that's a heartbreaker, Josh. That's a tough break, man, and we can't wait to see you back out there. Hopefully internet, hopefully everything works easier for you in the next race. Hopefully it does not affect you or hurt your chances or take you out of potentially another good run and good race here on the Speedway. But you do see the 0-1 ride starting to fall back here, as I do believe that is Josh Kreider now working his way around him. Landon Burbage right there as well. They are going to both slide around. We should see this update here. There it is. So Josh Kreider now out in front late in this stage. We're on lap 79 right now, and for Josh Kreider, he's able to take the race lead, hoping to try to earn stage win number 2 here this evening. Burbage around the 0-1. Came home 5th there in that first stage, now looking to try to come home maybe with the stage win if he can find that extra gear. He's up and into second. Can he hunt down that 5 ride of Josh Kreider and potentially take this stage win away from Josh this evening? As you do see the 0-1 ride, Matthew Rodriguez slides back here now into that 3rd position as the 77 ride of Ryan Haller up and into position number 4. And then we do see there's Haller there in 4th. There's the 51 ride of Mickelson in position number 5 here. Good run for both these drivers here this evening in this second stage of the day. The 16 ride of Keith Ayers back there in position number 6, I do believe. Yep, in position number 6. Back there in 7th is our stage 1 winner, Brian Underwood. Underwood there in 7th, as you do see the 19 ride, Melvin Brangruer back there in 8th. Back in 9th is Danny White in the 79 ride to his out. Well, right there with them, the 17 ride, that is Will Moore. Unfortunately for Will Moore, he is a couple laps down now. I'm not sure what happened to him. Potentially a pit road speeding violation for the 17 ride. Unfortunately, was down pit side for an extended period of time, and he is now deeper in the pack. So it moves Ben Gleason into our 10th and final stage position here this evening, as each and every one of these drivers is going to be looking to try to keep on racing, keep on battling here right now, getting a potential stage break just around the corner. Definitely could make things a little bit more of a level playing field for everyone, and knowing that this is how the second stage is going to play out, but there is going to be no stage breaks. So that final stage of the day, you know, it really opens up the opportunity to run a little bit more strategy here, try to play some different games to work on your car to get tires or fuel when you need it, to try and put yourself into a position to potentially win this race. You do see the 2 ride of Landon Burbage quickly rolling up to the back bumper here of Josh Kreider. Kreider trying to hang on for the stage win, but that 2 machine of Landon Burbage wants to take it away from him here. Landon wants to win this stage here this evening, and I do believe down across the line they will complete lap number 83 as Landon does take over the race lead. As Landon Burbage now out in front, the number 2 ride. I believe with only 2 laps left to go here in this stage. Completion of lap number 85 is when this stage will come to a close. So 2 laps left to go here in the stage. And for the 2 ride, not only quickly able to make the move, make the pass, and get in front of that 5 ride of Josh Kreider, but now starting to try and pull away here. And he is doing it in a quick hurry. Already opening up a 5, 6, 7 car length lead between himself and that 5 ride. Final lap here of this stage as Kreider rolls in position number 2. It's Landon Burbage, though, out in front. Burbage just looking very strong here this evening. We saw him trying to make the pass, you know, fairly late in that first stage. Made a mistake at a corner number 4. Got up into the outside fence, had a little contact there, fell back into about 7th, was able to battle back for a top 5 run there in that first stage. And here in stage number 2, after getting that car repaired, getting everyone back onto a level playing field, in the 2 ride able to win stage number 2 here this evening. So our second stage of the day will go to the number 2 machine as the 5 ride of Josh Kreider comes home in second. The 0-1 second place in our first stage, 3rd place here in stage number 2 for that 0-1 of Matthew Rodriguez. The 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson back there in 4th. And then we do see, I believe it's the 16, as Keith Ayer is going to round out our top 5. The 72 ride a couple laps down. There's the 77 coming home in 6 of Ryan Haller there. So 6 in that stage for the 77. 7 for the 6th ride of Mr. Brian Underwood. Danny White back in 8th. And then I do believe it's Ben Gleason there in 9th. And the 87 ride of Chris Getz going to round out our top 10 here in stage number 1. I do believe we're going to see Nathan Brookover back there. Melvin Brenger, unfortunately, back there. And a lot of these drivers, unfortunately, running into some pit road issues here. Having some of those problems, having some of those issues down and on pit road. And unfortunately, potentially taking them out of this race. We already saw, obviously, for the JS Derby cars, unfortunately losing connection to the server, and losing that connection is now, out of this race. So that is a tough spot there for the 0-3 machine. Looked very strong, very fast here this evening. I thought he was definitely going to be a contender and potentially trying to win this race here today. But here we go. Race leaders headed down pit side. Landon Burbage will show him the way. So Burbage down pit road after winning that stage, as Anna says, yes, she says, as Mrs. Holler says, good job, Wyatt Mickelson, come on, Ryan, move it up, as they both did pretty good, pretty strong there. Obviously some pretty hard racing, obviously some pretty big moves for a couple of those drivers, and obviously now we will have to wait and see kind of what they got up their sleeve. Obviously there's going to be a lot of strategy, a lot of drivers trying to play some different games here on whether or not they're trying to, maybe have an extra set of tires back there for late in this race, if they've able to make some moves or trying to put themselves into a position where, they can maybe potentially try and, just play that strategy game, whether it comes down to fuel or maybe tires, that may make the difference here on finding victory lane here tonight. So that could be the big question mark for a lot of these drivers, is going to be that tire wear, and is going to be, what percentage these guys are going to be using out there on the racetrack here. And how much they can either save or how long they can run before they need to come down pit road. It seemed like they could only make it somewhere around that lap 27, 28 area for green flag pit stop. So if we stay clean and green over another 80 lap run, we're going to see at least, I'm going to say, 2 more pit stops here this evening. At least 2 more pit stops here for these guys, and that is going to definitely make things very interesting. We've already seen kind of how, these pit stops have affected some of these drivers. We've seen issues down pit road. We've seen guys have some of these issues where they've gotten pit road speeding penalties or had other problems down pit road, and unfortunately have fallen back out there on the racetrack. As Jacob, what's good, Jacob? Jacob coming in. Mr. Burbage says, hell yeah, Landon, hell yeah, he says. As Anna says, Jake, what's up? What's up, Jake? How are you, mister? How are you, Mr. Burbage? Coming in, showing the love here in this one as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here. The 0-1 ride of Matthew Rodriguez out in front. So Rodriguez has the race lead. To his outside will be the 5 ride of Josh Kreider. Landon Burbage there in 3rd. Wyatt Mickelson in 4th. Ryan Haller sits in 5th. The Charlie Kirk number 6 is the Turning Point USA ride. They're in that 6th position in the 6th ride. The 66 back behind him in position number 7. The 33, the other Charlie Kirk ride right there. He rolls in position number 8. That is Jordan Kreider. Danny White and Chris Getz are top 10 out there on the speedway, with Keith Ayers in the 19 of Mr. Melvin Brenger there in position number 11 and 12. And then we see the 17 ride. That is Mr. Will Moore, Nathan Brookover, Farrell Robbins, and Jonathan Gaston bringing up the rear of the field here. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Great launch on that outside lane for the 5 ride of Kreider, as Kreider takes the race lead here down in the corner number 1. So Kreider out in front. The Robert Up Productions number 5 ride hoping to try to keep all these guys back there at bay. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So we want you guys to crank up that volume. We want you guys to cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session right there, giving us the sights and sounds around Kansas Speedway as we start to see green flag pit stops here. Once again, Jordan Kreider hitting pit road here. Here comes Kreider. Here comes Gleason, Chris Getz. You do see a bunch of these other drivers, including Kevin Ayers, the 0-1 of Matthew Rodriguez, also down pit road. We did see Wyatt Mickelson already down pit side. Haller, there's the 6 ride of Brian Underwood. The 2 ride, our race leader, Landon Burbage, was also down pit road here as he had worked himself out to a pretty solid race lead in that number 2 machine. Now, let's see if we can find a good camera angle again there. There we go. Okay, so the 2 ride was out in front before these green flag pit stops did open up a pretty sizable race lead. Now he's hoping to try to hang on to the 6 ride, though. Brian Underwood right there with him. I do believe as they come down across the line, things should kind of get shaken up here a little bit. We'll have to wait and see where people kind of come out after their green flag pit stops, where everyone kind of gets in tow to. Is there you go. You see the 0-1 down low. There's Kevin Ayers right there with them as our race leader here is actually back a little bit after his green flag pit stop. There's Kreider still down pit side here. Looks like potentially a pit road speeding penalty. We talked about that earlier and how these pit road speeding penalties could cost you a good run and a good race here this evening. Unfortunately, now being held down pit road for at least a lap right there, and unfortunately that's going to set him quite a bit farther back. The 77 of Mr. Ryan Haller looks to continue to have a solid run, solid race here this evening as he's hoping that maybe, potentially, this could help work him into a solid run and solid finish here in this race as he rolls right now at about that 6th position. In front of him, it is the number 79 ride. I do believe Danny White is the race leader here. No, he will fall back into about position number 5 after making his pit stop as Landon Burbage back out in front. So Burbage back to the point here. So Landon out in front has the race lead once again, but he does have that 0-1 ride who's looked very strong all evening long as Rodriguez once again hoping to try to work his way into the win here this evening with his first race with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Brian Underwood, great comeback here for that 6th ride as Underwood right there in position number 3. We had saw him fall back, finish that second stage in about the 6th, 7th position after winning stage number 1 and leading so many laps there early on in this race, but now having some, redemption here, battling back and putting himself right back here towards the front of the field, looking to try to find victory lane here this evening. Now, bear with us here, chat. We're going to try and see if we can get SDK working here again for us. If we can get this rolling, if we can get this working again, that would be great. I have a sneaky suspicion it's still not working. It's probably not going to work. It'll automatically close itself out here in a couple seconds. There it is. All right, so it is still not working. Unfortunately, still no overlay for us, so we still have to try to do this all manually and just kind of off the top of our head here this evening. Off the top of our dome, we got to try to remember all these names, numbers, cars, where they are on the racetrack and where they're running, and it's not super easy, that's for certain. It is definitely not super easy. Definitely a tough thing to do, but you do see that 2 ride of Landon Burbage still out in front, has the race lead. The 6th ride of Mr. Underwood now into second as the 0-1 of Matthew Rodriguez falls back into position number 3. So he's there in that 3rd spot. You do see, I do believe, Danny White in position number 4. It is the 77 of Ryan Haller back there in 5th. The 66 of Ben Gleason, I do believe, rolling there in position number 6. Great run there for Ben Gleason. Back in 7th is the number 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson. There in 8th, that is the 87 of Mr. Chris Getz there in 8th. Back in 9th, I do believe is, actually, I don't know who's in 9th. Okay, so it is Chris Getz is in 9th. Okay, Keith Ayers is still on the lead lap back in 7th. So it is Chris Getz in 9th. Josh Kreider is in 10th. Jordan Kreider back in 11th. 1 lap down. So he's the first car 1 lap down there in that 33 machine. There's the 5 ride right there of Mr. Josh Kreider. Unfortunately for Josh and Melvin Brangru, they're at risk of quickly becoming either a lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack as the 19 ride sees our race leaders right there in his rear view mirror, and if they can make the move around and put him another lap down, trap him back there a little bit farther, could definitely take him out of contention of this race. But for Josh Kreider, Does not want to see these guys hunt him down. Does not want to see Landon and Brian Underwood here be able to run up to his back bumper, put him a lap down, put him into that position here in this race, especially knowing that his brother, Jordan Kreider, is also kind of one lap down right now. So if he's one lap down, Jordan Kreider could potentially get that lucky dog, the free pass, the wave around back on the lead lap if we do see another caution flag, as we've been clean and green here all evening. Clean and green all night long. It's been nothing but good, hard racing action here around the speedway, and it's been quite miraculous and quite impressive to see all these drivers able to continue to just keep on, running good solid green flag laps here. No issues, no problems. We haven't seen a caution flag for an on-track incident. We've seen 2 yellows for our stage breaks, but that is it. No other issues here. So that really makes things that much more interesting, knowing that, there's still a lot of laps, still a lot of time to go here, as I do believe this time by they are going to complete lap 125. We're inching closer and closer to seeing 40 laps left to go here in this race. So that's definitely going to make things a little bit more wild here tonight, knowing that things are clicking down, the laps are clicking down, and we're getting closer and closer to the checkered flag. And with the checkered flag not too far away, it just kind of amps up the intensity. Makes things that much more crazy, that much more intense. And for a lot of these drivers, it just makes it so that maybe you got to push a little bit harder. You push a little harder, that's where you can potentially see mistakes. You could potentially run into problems, and if you do start running into those mistakes and problems, it could easily put you into a spot where you make that issue and bring out a caution flag, where we get all these drivers back together. Cautions tend to breed cautions, especially late in these races, so we'll have to see kind of how this plays out and who's able to be there at the end to put themselves into victory lane. As the 2 ride of Landon Burbage, Landon continues to lead this race. Landon is out in front. The 6 ride of Mr. Brian Underwood rolls there in that second spot. The 0-1 ride of Matthew Rodriguez there in position number 3 here on the speedway. Our top 3 kind of all right there together. They are pretty solid there. They're not too far apart, and you'd have to look back even farther to find our 4th place driver of Mr. Danny White. Danny about 4.5 seconds back here, so he's quite a bit of ways. There's a big gap. That was about half a straightaway, maybe even a full corner back of our race leaders out there on the racetrack, and probably needs a caution flag to potentially get himself back into the action here this evening. Same with Ryan Haller and the 66 at Gleason, as they will need a yellow flag to potentially catch our race leaders, as well as we do see Ben Gleason working that outside lane. Looks like he may be able to make the move, make the pass, and jump up and around Ryan Haller here for that 5th position. Now the 72 ride of Jonathan Gaston. Gaston is a few laps down, unfortunately, there for that Gaston's iRacing Graphics Bourbon Hills Barbecue number 72 ride. So tough spot there for him, but still battling, still having a good time out there on the racetrack, and still enjoying some solid racing action out there on the speedway. And then we do see that 51 ride Wyatt Mickelson back in about that 5th, 6th position somewhere. 7th right now, 7th there for the 51 ride. So sitting in that 7th spot, obviously needs to catch up to the guys in front of him here if he wants to be able to try to gain a few more spots, try to race his way inside the top 5. You do see the 87 back there. That is Chris Gets in at about the 8th position. Will Moore, unfortunately, a couple laps down in that beautiful Cinnamon Toast Crunch number 17 ride. Kevin Ayers back there as well. Ayers a little deeper in the field now, I do believe, back in about that 9th position here. So he rolls there in 9th. Behind him is the 5 ride of Joshua Kreider. And for Kreider, he's very, very close to potentially being the next driver to go a lap down. The car that's 1 lap down, the only car that is 1 lap down, is this 33 of Jordan Kreider. Now, Jordan was on the lead lap. He was in contention here this evening, and unfortunately a pit road speeding penalty had him stay down pit road, a 30-second hold for speeding on pit lane, and unfortunately that put him a lap down, now into a tough position. If we do catch a caution flag, though, could get the lucky dog, could get the wave around, and back on the lead lap here tonight. As long as the 5 ride can stay in front of our race leader, Landon Burbage here could potentially put himself into that lucky dog spot, and he, obviously if Kreider goes the lap down, that will move Josh Kreider into lucky dog position and take Jordan Kreider out of that lucky dog spot. As Mrs. Holler says, come on up, Holler. Mickelson, you guys can do it. Cheering on both Wyatt Mickelson and Ryan Holler here this evening like she does every night. But now we start to see later in this run, as we're inching closer and closer to potentially seeing more green flag pit stops here throughout this run, the 2 ride of Landon Burbage starting to open up that lead once again, starting to pull away here from Mr. Brian Underwood. Underwood back there now, probably about a second behind our race leader here this evening with the 0-1 ride back there in position number 3. So for Matthew Rodriguez, still a very good run, very solid drive here out of this 0-1 machine, as he's been right in contention here all night long. Came home second, a close finish there. Obviously just gave up the stage win in stage number 1, and then in stage number 2 he was right there again. Unfortunately just kind of pitted a little early. The tires kind of fell off a little quicker than the guys in front of him and slid back into position number 3 there in stage number 2, but very successful run so far here on the night, and for his first Premium Stock Car Racing League race for Matthew Rodriguez, as he has ran that timed 0-1 ride here up inside the top 3 pretty much all evening long, and obviously winning, coming home second in stage 1, third there in stage number 2, and looking to finish this off with a solid finish here this evening. Could definitely put him into a spot to, start to chip away at some of the points. Obviously missed out on a few of the races early in the season. A latecomer being our 7th race of the season now, and for the 0-1 ride, obviously hopping out there onto the racetrack, missing the first 6 races. It's a big points gap to try to gain and try to jump, but if you can win a race, if you can get yourself into the playoffs somehow for the 0-1 ride, he's definitely off to a good start here this evening, and obviously looking strong here tonight. Definitely could be strong many, many nights to come. As out in front, though, it is Landon Burbage. Burbage continues to hold on to the race lead, as this time by the start-finish line, they will complete lap number 138. That will mean we're on lap 139 now. We're inching very close to this checkered flag. So that means things are going to be very, very interesting here. Less than 30 laps left to go here in this race, and obviously drivers going to need that additional pit stop. They were down pit road somewhere just after lap 115, somewhere around lap 120-ish in that area. So with them having those pit stops in, they can only run about 27, maybe 30 laps. I don't think it's quite 30 laps even. So that's going to mean that they're going to run out of fuel before the end of this race, meaning that they will have to make a quick jump down pit road, try to get fuel, maybe take tires if they've got any left. They started this race with 5 sets back there behind pit wall, so if you got 5 sets of tires, maybe they've only used 3 or 4 sets up. Maybe they got 1 set still back there that they can use for this final run here this evening. But when do you come down pit road? When do you make that decision to head down pit side, make this final pit stop? You come down too early, not only do you potentially go a lap down, but you could also potentially see a caution flag come out. With you burning up some of those tires, other drivers may have fresher tires and a free pass down pit side, where you get kind of just stuck a lap down, or maybe get the wave around, but you're still at a disadvantage, losing track position and having the different tires here as well, and obviously having the weaker tires than the other drivers. So coming down too early definitely could put you into a very interesting position. Now staying out too late could also hurt you if you got those fresh tires and you don't have a whole lot of laps to use them. Could definitely affect your race here this evening as well. So you gotta play kind of both hands of it. You kind of got to take the good with the bad. You can't really, push it too hard or too far, or put yourself into that spot where, you get that opening to, take yourself out of this race. And for a driver like Landon Burbage, who has this race lead, you got to just make sure that you kind of wait. You don't want to be the first car down pit road, but you don't want to be the last car down pit side either. So you got to be very, very cautious. And when the drivers back behind you elect to come down pit side, it's this beautiful Charlie Kirk number 6 ride here, the Turning Point USA ride of Mr. Underwood, rolls there in position number 2. Continue to fall farther and farther away from our race leader, and you do see a lot of these drivers start to come down pit side here. You do see Chris Getz, the 0-1 ride, also down pit side. You did see, I do believe that is the 66 of Ben Gleason, also down pit road. Now, it did look like potentially for the 0-1, may have lost a bunch of time down pit side right there. He was at the front of the field battling there with our race leaders, and now has Chris Getz in front of him here. So a great pit stop there for, or not Chris Getz, Getz right behind him, but we do see the 66 of Gleason in front of him here, and potentially a few more drivers may be able to get there. So here we go, our race leaders down pit side. There is the 6 of Mr. Underwood. You see Keith Ayers also down pit side. You'll see that 2 ride, Landon Burbage down pit road. Looks like he had that fresh set of tires still down behind pit wall, so he puts the tires on. He's looking to get rolling out there and hoping that he can stay in front of that 6 machine of Underwood. Underwood able to leave pit road. They're going to be door to door. This could be the race for the win right down pit side. Potentially a little bit too easy coming down pit road for that 2 ride of Landon Burbage. That's what we're talking about. You do not want to make a mistake down pit road, and if you do, it could potentially take you into the win here this evening. As of right now, he is behind that number 6 machine, and that is a tough spot to be because he's going to have to try to figure it a way not only to catch up, close that gap. It's not too far between himself and Underwood, but potentially if Brian can keep back there at bay, continue to keep dumping dirty air onto the hood of that 2 ride, may be enough to try to hold him off. But for the 2 of Landon Burbage later in the run, seems to have the better car, so we'll have to wait and see if he can find the better car, if he can have the better car here later in this run to make a move and try to put himself into one of those positions to, you know, maybe make that pass, put himself still into the winner's circle. But it's going to be a tough fight here, as you do see Danny White working right down to his inside. Danny not backing down here. He's still battling side by side here with that 2 ride of Landon Burbage. Danny White able to jump up into position number 2 there for a little bit. Still battling there for that 2nd spot, as you do see Danny White, Landon Burbage, they're battling here. It's allowing that 6 ride to potentially pull farther and farther away here in this one as Ryan Haller up and into position number 4 here. Heck of a run there for the Cambridge 77 of Ryan Haller, now into that 4th position. Gleason there in 5th. And then you see the number 01 ride. That is Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez rolling there, I do believe, in the 6th position. Wyatt Mickelson right behind him in 7th. Back in 8th is going to be the 87 of Chris Getz, and then we will see, I believe it is the number 16 of Kevin Ayers. Ayers back there, he is in the 9th position on the racetrack in that 16 ride. Joshua Grinder back in position number 10 now for Josh Grinder, still right there on the edge of potentially going a lap down. Jordan Grinder still the first car 1 lap down, in line to potentially get that lucky dog, the free pass, back onto the lead lap here this evening. So we'll have to keep a close eye on Jordan Grinder, and if he's able to get lucky enough to get that caution flag and get himself back on the lead lap for Melvin Brengruer here. Brengruer 2 laps down, does look like he will fall to Will Moore, so Brengruer will fall back into position number 13 as Will Moore in that beautiful Cinnamon Toast Crunch ride will jump into position number 12. Gaston Brookover, Farrell Robbins, Greg Wood Sr., Joshua Siegfried, and Benjamin Romano will round out our 19-car field here this evening, as just some great, clean racing here this evening. That's exactly what we like to see, as everyone continues to try to hunt down our race leader, as it's still Brian Underwood out in front. Right there behind him, our 2nd and 3rd place drivers. Landon Burbage trying to work his way back to the point here late in this race, is down across the line. They are going to start lap number 150 here. So the completion of this lap, we should have about 17 laps left to go here in this race. So 17 laps left to try to figure out who will put themselves into the winner's circle here today. Who can get it done? Who can get the win and find their way into victory lane here at Kansas Speedway in the Charlie Kirk Memorial Race, as the 6th ride continues to lead this with the Turning Point USA ride, as it is right now. It is a turning point here in the USA after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and we continue to be so angry at that and so upset about what they did, man. But Charlie's legacy will continue to live on through all of us, as we are Charlie Kirk, and Charlie continuing to live in our hearts each and every single day for the rest of our eternity. As the sixth ride of Underwood has him on the car. We saw Kreider there running that paint scheme as well, in memoriam to Charlie Kirk, and I'm sure we may see more and more of these drivers, over the next few months and weeks and races, continue to run these amazing paint schemes, as Charlie Kirk, a living legend here, still among us, as he rides on board with that sixth ride of Brian Underwood, as Underwood trying to take him to victory lane here this evening. Continues to lead this race down across the line. We'll click off another lap. It's the two ride of Landon Burbage right there behind him. Landon hoping to try to get his NJBDesigns.com Prince's Towing number 2 ride up and into victory lane here this evening, as the two machine rolls there in that second spot. He's looked stronger on the longer run, so potentially, if he can kind of find a groove, if he can kind of find his lane here once again, maybe he can battle back and take this win away from that 6 machine here this evening. And don't count out that 79 ride. Danny White has looked very good here throughout this race as well. Danny has been very, very strong. He's looked very good here, and for the 79 ride late in this race to be right there, so close to it, if he could potentially catch a yellow, or potentially just find that extra little bit of speed, that extra little bit of gumption that he may need to try to race his way up and into victory lane here this evening, as he's right there in that third spot, man. He is in this. If they start battling here in front of him, if Landon can catch that 6th ride, maybe they start to duke it out, maybe a little rubbing and scrubbing, a little elbows up racing here, and potentially he could just squeeze right on by them, get a big run, take the lead away, and maybe even more, and try to put himself into a big area here to take advantage of this race, as he is definitely hoping to try to find victory lane once again here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. And tonight may be that night, as he rolls there in that third spot. But it's Underwood who continues to lead the way. They roll up towards maybe some more lap traffic here, as Josh Kreider, right now our 10th place driver on the speedway, potentially about to go a lap down out there on the racetrack, as our race leaders have been continuing to roll towards his back bumper here for the last little while, after a bit of a bad pit stop there on our first pit stop during this long green flag run. After that second stage, after it came to an end, we saw the 5 ride make a pit stop. Unfortunately, did not go his way, and followed back here almost a lap down, and he's been kind of just a second or two, maybe 3 or 4 in front of our race leader for quite a while, and unfortunately just not able to get an edge here or get a caution to kind of bring him back to the rear of the field, and being able to battle here for position again late in this race. And that is a tough spot to be, as you do see the 6 ride continue to lead the way. The 19 here, that is passing the number 79 of Danny White. That is Melvin Brenger. Now, Brenger came down pit road quite a bit later than a lot of these drivers. In for the 19 ride, I do believe he is at least 3 laps down right now, so unfortunately 3 laps down there for the 19 ride. He could race his way back to 2 laps down, but unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to be able to get there or not, and even if he can, I don't know if it will make a huge difference, as there's other drivers in front of him in line for the Lucky Dogs, and unfortunately, it's going to be a tough night here for a lot of these drivers. No yellows other than our stage breaks, and they just have not been able to get a break here and take advantage of some of these yellow flags, as we do see the 79 right now has a lap car between himself and our second place driver, Landon Burbage, so that kind of moves him a little farther back, and now after getting past there, he has slid back here and quite a ways away from their back bumper, which may potentially take him out of this race and may take him out of potential win here this evening, as Landon continues to try to hunt down that 6 ride of Underwood. But we are getting close to our checkered flag. 8 laps left to go here in this race, and the checkered flag is going to be out in a quick hurry. The Charlie Kirk Turning Point USA number 6 Brian Underwood continues to lead this race. Josh Kreider right there in front of him. Kreider trying to keep himself on the lead lap, trying to keep himself in this battle. If he could get a yellow, maybe he's able to stay in it, but he does not want to make a big mistake in front of Underwood right there, and that got very, very close to potentially being our first yellow flag of the day. The 5 ride out of the throttle, almost into the fence, almost, getting checked up enough that the 6 machine almost got into the back end of him. Could have potentially, taken this number 6 ride out of the race here this evening, and that would have hurt him a ton here this evening. That would have definitely been a bad place to be if you're that 6th ride. And now you do see Kreider again up and into the fence here. You see a great piece of driving there from that number 79 ride to avoid him. Kreider able to keep it rolling, but you do see late in this race, the 2 ride able to close that gap a little bit more. He's inching closer and closer to him. We talked about how he's a little bit quicker here on the longer runs. On the longer runs, he seems to find that extra little bit of edge. It may be just the tire saving, being able to keep this car underneath of him for a little bit longer, and maybe Landon Burbage late in this race can make a move and make the pass to get this race lead back away from Brian Underwood. But as the laps continue to click down, he's running out of time. Not only does he have to catch up to him, get to his back bumper, but then has to try to make a move. He has to complete the pass, and that is no easy task, especially late in this race. He's not going to give it up very easily. We know that the 6th ride will continue to try to keep himself back there, try to keep himself just in front of him, jump in that dirty air onto the nose of that 2 ride, continue to try to make him tight, arrow loose, or anything else to try to keep him back there at bay. But Landon continues to just try to put the pressure right there to him. As here we go down across the line, that is lap 164 getting started here. So I do believe we got about 4 laps left here in this race. So 4 laps left to go here in this one. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's going to be a tight one here right down to the finish line. It is going to be interesting to see who can get the win here today, as the 6th ride of Underwood, man, he looked so good early on. He was able to win that first stage. Kind of a bit of, just cruise control there through the 2nd stage and through, the first little bit of this final stage. But here we go, late in it, able to make some moves, race his way back up there, has this race lead and trying to keep that 2 ride of Landon Burbage back at bay. But late in it, here comes that 2 machine, gets a great run down the back straightaway, hoping to close the gap. Here comes another big run down to the inside. Will it stick? Will he be able to keep his foot in the throttle and close that gap to the 6 of Underwood? Is down across the line. They will click off another lap here this evening, and I do believe it is 2 laps left to go here, ladies and gentlemen. 2 laps left here in this race, and potentially a incident-free race here this evening. If we don't see a caution flag here in this next lap, it could be an incident-free race. No caution flag for issues out there on the racetrack. Absolutely amazing to see as the 6th ride gets a great run down the back straightaway, down into corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. The Charlie Kirk Turning Point USA ride of Brian Underwood will see the white flag fly. So the white flag has been displayed here for Underwood as he's looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane. You did see Landon Burbage bounce it off the outside fence right there, and unfortunately for that 2 machine had fallen back here. He stayed just in front of Danny White, as unfortunately took him out of a shot to try to make a move that steal this win away. As here comes that Turning Point USA number 6 ride of Brian Underwood out of corner number 4. He will get it done and bring Charlie Kirk with him into victory lane here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, as Underwood gets the win. They're going to wreck after the race here as Brent Brewer gets into him and unfortunately destroy that race car, as it was looking beautiful out there on the speedway. But it's Brian Underwood who's able to get the win here this evening and park that ride up and into victory lane, as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews coming up here in just a couple more moments. We'll get ready to pull Brian in here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Brian Underwood. Hey, Brian. Did that not drag him? Let's see if we can try this again. Hey, Brian, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, I got you.
Ryan, man, what a run, what a race, man, what a win for you here this evening. Obviously qualifying on the pole, you were able to battle hard there with that 0-1 ride of Matthew Rodriguez and able to put yourself into, the first stage win of the evening, and then you kind of fell back a little bit there in stage number 2, and then slowly but surely, methodically worked yourself back up here, and late in this race, just holding off Landon Burbage, going to work here late in this one, and putting that Turning Point USA ride up here into victory lane this evening, man. What a run, what a race. Take us back through what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, it was definitely a blast. I mean, there's so many people that showed speed tonight. I mean, there's a few that had some bad luck, but I felt like there was easily 10 to 12 that I've seen up towards front all night. So it's like every race, man. You gotta be consistent. And I took the L on stage 2. I was trying to save a set of tires just in case. You never know what that third stage has on hold, and just I don't know. I was on point on pit entries on Landon, so every time I would pit with him, and I shrunk that lead on that last pit stop. He was almost 1.8 seconds ahead, and I shrunk that to nothing in pit. So that basically got me at there. Landon did a hell of a job. I mean, it was basically who got in front between both of us because playing the air. So yeah, overall it was a great race, and especially in this car, especially with what happened, it's just good to be in victory lane again.
Yeah, absolutely great to be back in victory lane, and obviously you have Charlie Kirk riding on board with you here this evening, as we are all Charlie Kirks now, and obviously we were before, but they've kind of awoken a beast here, and man, it was pretty emotional. Obviously we did our lap of silence, and everyone has just been so distraught and so heartbroken here about the tragedy that has struck the entire world, as we've seen uprising and everything else here throughout not only the USA but pretty much across the world here. We've seen videos of people in Africa. They've been celebrating Charlie Kirk's life. We saw people obviously in the UK, Australia, over in South Korea, Japan, everywhere. Charlie Kirk, touched so many people, man, and it seems super special to be able to come here and put this car with his face, his memoriam on this machine into victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, he's a winner in probably not everybody's eyes. You got the few, but he's definitely idol of mine. I've watched him for many years on all the different platforms, and just his ability with speech and how he can, he don't matter who you are. He'll debate you. He'll talk to you. It didn't matter. So it's definitely a tragedy, and well, hopefully his legacy continues and gets bigger, and hopefully the world comes a little less violent, and we move on from that.
Absolutely, brother. Couldn't have said it any better myself. But Brian, hell of a run here this evening as you're able to put yourself up here into victory lane, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
Well, I gotta thank Josh and Ben. We've been putting in some work, bringing in a few drivers and just all the extra work week to week. And you putting on the show, obviously, it looks like you had your own kind of where your one thing go down or something, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the overlay company that I use just apparently did not want to work tonight. Yeah.
They're taking a day off, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, so you did a great job, obviously, with your obstacles, and just everybody showed up tonight. It was very clean. I don't know, we had, one caution, and I think the rest were stages, so that's very good. And I got to thank Melvin. He tore up my car because he lost talent, and I didn't get to do a burnout, but I'm going to still sit here on the finish line and take my second win.
Absolutely.
And I got to thank Landon, man. He raced me clean. I appreciate that. I definitely won't forget it, and definitely be paid back in future events if it ever goes vice versa.
Absolutely, brother, and obviously good, hard, great, clean racing. I don't even think we had a caution flag for incident here this evening. I think it was only the two stage breaks here that brought the yellow flags out, man. It was a hell of a show that everyone was able to put on for us here tonight.
Yeah, I think the caution came before the stage. Melvin come across my nose, and that's why he killed me post race. That was the
Ah.
only caution.
Okay. Well, I didn't catch that. I would have if I had SDK, but I
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
all
my
good.
I don't have my overlay, so I can only do things manually, and it is definitely infuriating, especially with the new drivers, man. It took me a little while, but I was able to catch their names, and then obviously kind of associate their name with the car, and it got easier as the night went on. But at the beginning, it was definitely gonna be a whole lot tougher there with the new drivers. But we made it work, man, and it was a lot of fun, a great show, and some great racing here this evening. And we can't wait to see you guys back in action. Potentially tomorrow night for yourself, and obviously next Saturday here again in the Premium Stock Car Racing League.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yes, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Brian Underwood. As Underwood picks up the win, we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 2 ride of Landon Burbage. Landon comes home in second. Let's pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Landon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
I do.
Landon, man, solid run for you here tonight, man, as you looked very, very strong here throughout this one. Obviously, we saw some contact there after trying to take the race lead in that first stage, and you bounced it off the wall. You were able to catch it, but you fell back a little ways. And there in stage 2, you battled back for another solid stage run. And late in this race, obviously jumping out to a couple pretty sizable race leads. It looked like it was going to be yours to lose, and I'm not sure if you ran into an issue or a little bit of a slower pit stop there, but nonetheless, Underwood able to get out in front of you down pit road, and then you just weren't able to catch back up to him. Weren't able to make that move to really make a opportunity open there to take that race lead back away from the 6th ride late in this race.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate turn of events for me there. But good thing is we got stage point in both stages. Won one stage, and then we got 5th in the first stage. And yeah, that first stage run there, I don't really know what happened. I was trying to run for the lead there, and I kind of got tight on top, and then I ended up hitting the wall. But we recovered from it, so it wasn't a super bad turn of events there. But yeah, I was looking forward to getting my second win in this league, and just came up just a little bit short. And I mean, second place isn't bad, so I mean, I'm still proud of it. But I wish I could have done better on pit road there. That's one thing I do need to work on, is being able to get to pit road a lot quicker, and just getting out of my pit box quicker and just being consistent on pit road. That's definitely one of my things that I struggle on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's definitely going to be something that I'm sure we'll see you work on here throughout the next few weeks, and obviously trying to minimize those mistakes and minimize those problems, and continue to try to put yourself back up here into victory lane. But a solid run nonetheless here tonight. Second place, a good points day for you, man. And here you are, able to cap it off with a solid run for the number 2 ride again here this evening. As Landon, who would you like to thank for another great run and performance out there on the racetrack?
First thing I want to say is I appreciate everybody that supports me. My grandma and my girlfriend Lacey, my dad, my uncle. I'm sure you've seen them in the chat a few times. But yeah, and also Jordan Hand. He wished me good luck tonight. Dylan and all of them. I know they've been watching me and cheering me on. So just want to thank them, and also always I want to thank you, Aaron, because you put on a really great broadcast, and yeah.
Appreciate that, brother, and I appreciate the solid effort and great and clean racing here tonight. Landon, congrats on the second place finish, and we can't wait to hopefully see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Saturday night.
Yep. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Yes, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Mr. Landon Burbage. As Landon comes home in position number 2 here this evening is my boy, Bubba. What's good, Bubba? Bubba coming in, showing the love, says, peace. Damn, I hear too late. Yeah, just a little too late, unfortunately, Bubba. A little too late here in this one, my boy, but I appreciate you coming in, showing the love again, and also hitting that resubscribe button again here tonight. The Tier 1 subscription over there on Twitch. And for 26 months in a row, man, that is absolutely insane. 26 months of being a subscriber here on Peacemaker Gaming, man. I can't thank you enough, brother. That's absolutely insane. It's absolutely super generous of you, and I can't appreciate you enough for coming in and hitting that subscribe button once again here this evening. As Hayes Kev says, almost had P4. I'll take the top 5 anytime. And Wyatt right behind me says, great night for the team. Great night for the team, my boy. As Bubba says, sheet, that sub is auto, man. It's auto. Well, it's auto, but it doesn't pop up. It doesn't give me the noties, I don't think, until either you're in the chat or something like that. I know it usually gives them to me every month, but I don't know if it's usually when you're in the stream, when you're into the chat, it's usually giving me the updates on that stuff. So I'm not sure what the auto is or not, but nonetheless, I appreciate, brother. I appreciate it, my man. Nonetheless, I always appreciate your support and love. As we'll get ready to pull in our third place driver here, Danny White, waiting patiently here as Bubba says, I have to come to give the update. Yes, sir. I love that. I love it. Hey, I love the updates, man. I love the updates. I love to see the support and being able to shout you out whenever you're here in the chat. But let's bring Danny White in here for his third place run here this evening. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Danny, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth to get a copy.